I can tell you right now, if you do these 4 things, and most of you aren't, which is crazy, if you do these 4 things, you're almost guaranteed to make more money. What's up guys, Travis Stevenson coming back to you. It has been a long time since my last video, so I got a lot of living up to do. So I figured I might as well start off with the best. Today we're gonna be talking about the 4 pillars to the $1 million sequence. Now, if you don't currently have an offer and you are not currently promoting something as an affiliate, or you don't have goals to do that, skip this video. Honestly, if you're looking for like how to make money with groups, I've got a video on that. This is probably a little bit more advanced. This is the next stage of your business. But I can tell you right now, if you do these 4 things, and most of you aren't, which is crazy, if you do these 4 things, you're almost guaranteed to make more money. Every single time that I run a funnel, as long as I include all 4 of these pillars, it turns into a $1 million offer for me, which is where I got all my 2 comma clubs. It's where I have millions of dollars in other platforms as well. It's because I actually do all of these. Now, even still, I'm not perfect. I've done a couple where, I'll give you guys a little background. This pillar right here, the event, which I'll talk about in a second, it's the one that basically everybody does. And there's been a couple of times where I've done it myself, and I forgot about this one, forgot about this one, and forgot about this one, and I made so little amount of money, it was like almost depressing that I even did it. And it was all my own fault. This simplified it for me. As long as I can remember to do these 4, it's easy. Now you're gonna notice these 2 pillars are actually larger. Now I'm not claiming to be an artist here, but I did the best that I could to represent. These 2 are really, really important, but they're less important than these 2. These 2 make a majority of your revenue. So let's go ahead and talk about pillar number 1, the lead in. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is the one that I think is the most forgotten about. Because what happens is most times we put out an offer or we're promoting somebody else's, and we don't build up any anticipation for that thing to happen. So a good example would be you're promoting your own funnel, and one day it's not ready, the next day it is, and you launch ads to it. But you haven't told anybody that it was coming. It's a lot like if you imagine a Kickstarter, right? And the best example is Apple. Apple does this like nobody's ever done it before, and they sell hundreds of millions of iPhones doing this. They literally have events where they say, hey, everybody come to this event and check out this thing that's not for sale yet, but we want to tell you about it. It builds anticipation. It gives weeks for them to actually open it. So the lead in is the part that you do before the actual event. So before you start promoting your thing, make sure that you tell people it's coming. Make sure you announce it. Do a lead generation campaign where you build up a list of people who are waiting for that thing to get released. I can promise you guys, it's gonna make a big difference because now you've given a little bit of time to resonate with them that like, oh, I'm expecting this thing to come. That makes a really, really big difference. And I would say this usually equates to about 20% of your funnel sales. If you don't do a lead-in process, then you're missing out on about, I would say, 20% of your total revenue. Now, after you get past the lead-in, we have the actual event. Now, this is where most people focus, I would say a majority of their time. They're looking at the lead-in as sort of, you know, not necessary, right? Well, imagine this whole thing without that pillar, it doesn't stand as well. And so a lot of you have launched something, or maybe you built an e-commerce store, or you know, anything like that. You worked hard to build this funnel, and then all of a sudden you're just like, where are my buyers coming from? They won't come if you don't tell them about it, right? So let's tell them about it. This right here, I would say this pillar right here is easily the one that most people can get right. That's just your webinar, that's your store opening, that's whatever it is that you finally want to release. So I'm not going to talk too much about the event, but the event itself usually will give you 30% of your potential revenue. Now these numbers aren't exact, right? It might be 32%, but give me a break. Either way, I think this represents a majority of the revenue that you're probably making now and a majority of your funnel revenue, or a big piece. The next one here is the replay. Now, I think this one is probably the one that the least amount of people get right. They might try to do it, they don't get it right. This one in the close, people are just messing this up all left and right. So let's talk about the replay. There needs to be a period of time where after the release is open, before you close it out. So let me give you some examples. In e-commerce, the replay would be the emails that you send out. Let's say you have 100 shirts. You launch a new brand, you get 100 shirts. That's the event, right? You launch the shirts. The shirts are now on your store. The replay is, I need to tell people about it consistently until I sell out, the close, right? And I'm gonna explain this in sequence using a couple of these different things, and you're gonna notice, wow, there's some good brands out there that are doing this exact thing. But before I do that, the replay accounts for approximately 30% of your sales through your funnel, give or take. Obviously, some of you guys might push the replay a little bit harder, and it depends on what you're selling, but I would say 30% of your revenue comes from the replay. Lastly, the close. I'm super guilty of this one. I don't do this one as often as I probably should. If I'm promoting somebody else's product, I often don't do it as much, or at least as well as I should. I do it on all of my own offers every single time. And this is when you actually shut down the offer. This is when, hey, the offer is no longer around. So this makes about 20% of your funnel revenue. I would say about 20%. That gets us to 100% of the possible revenue. Now here's what happens. I see it all the time. People only do the event. Well, that means that you literally don't get this 20%, you don't get this 30%, and you don't get this 20% here. So you're really only making 30% of what your potential would be had you done all of these. All right, so let me take you guys through a couple of examples of what it looks like when you do all four of these. And I guarantee you'll see similarities in some of your favorite brands doing this. And you can start to pay attention to the brands that you're already getting emails from, and you'll see, are they doing these four? Oh, they missed this one. That's an opportunity that they missed out on. It'll just give you a heads up in your marketing game. But let's go ahead and try it with my funnel. Let's say I'm doing a 3-day training event, right? Before the event, I tell people about it religiously for 8, 9, 10 days beforehand. I run ads just to get people to sign up for the early bird list or the insiders list before I release that thing. Let's look at it as an example with e-commerce. With e-commerce, you might be releasing a new line of clothing. When you do that beforehand, you tell people, make sure you subscribe to be the first ones to know about this new thing. Can you do either of those funnels without the lead in? Sure. Let's say I'm releasing a 3-day training event. If I just have the event, let's say it opens on Monday, and on Monday I send an email to my list, hey, here's this event, go take it. I'll still get sales throughout the course of the event, and especially if I go here. But I've exponentially dropped that anticipation factor by not having the lead-in section. So again, with e-commerce, if you just drop the new product on your store and you post on Instagram and you send an email, hey, we got a new product, will you make sales? Yes, but not as many people are anticipating it. Again, think about like Apple when they release a new watch, or your favorite YouTube stars when they release a new YouTube video. A lot of times they'll tell you, hey, next week we've got this one coming, yada, yada, build that anticipation. Then we've got the event. This one's obviously super simple. That's just you've released that thing. So then next, the replay. After you've released the thing, so let's say I have my 3-day training, on day 4, I give everybody access to all 3 days at one time. I do that for day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. I give them a chance to binge watch everything. I call that the replay because that can also be done with a webinar, right? So you get signups for your webinar, you have the webinar, then you show them the replay, right? This works for e-commerce. You tell them the product is coming, you release the product, then you continuously tell them. Big mistake that most of you are making, if you already have products right now, is you're not doing a replay. You're assuming, well, I already sent one email, I'm doing an email campaign and running ads, so they probably know. You gotta remember, most people don't open your emails the first time, second time, third time. It might be 5 emails in. Most people aren't seeing your posts on social media because the algorithm doesn't show. Most people see your post on Instagram, click, but don't buy it the first time. Please keep that in mind. The replay, you've really got to, for lack of a better term, beat them over the head with your product, letting them know this is available. So typically, you'll get 60% of your revenue from those 2 steps. And a lot of people only do those. Hey, having this event, here's day 1. Then, hey, day 3, day 4 is available, whatever, in the replay. But they're missing out on these 2 smaller pillars because they don't make as much money. It's not the bigger focus. I'm telling you right now, the close, this is where I make probably more than 20% of our revenue comes from the actual closing day of a sequence. So I might have undervalued this percentage. It might be flipped here, but the replay kind of leads into the close. So let's imagine now I've got my 3-day training event, Sunday hits, and I tell them today is the last day. You cannot get access to our material on Monday. Finish watching this now. Guess what happens? All those people who got my email on Saturday, but they were procrastinating and they're like, oh, I'll get it tomorrow. They now know there is no more tomorrow. Take action today. A great example is our close on most of our funnels and with the e-commerce clients that we work with is the morning we send an email, midday we send an email, and that night, like an hour and a half before midnight, we say, you've only got 1.5 hours left. Because all the procrastinators are now gonna jump on that last one. And typically those 3 emails, and sometimes we'll do it in 2, those generate an absolute boatload of income. So I wanted to show you guys my four pillars here of the $1 million sequence. And now that you know about it, what I would urge you guys to do is look at other people that you're already on an email list for or on an ad sequence with and see, are they doing anything to get you in their database ahead of the launch of this new thing? When they launch the new thing, how is that going? Kind of pay attention to it. But again, that's mainstream. That's everybody just putting an offer out. Then the replay, are they reminding me enough that this thing exists before they actually close it out? And again, e-commerce might be, hey, we've got 100 shirts. You let them know, we've got 50 shirts, we've got 40 shirts, we've got 30 shirts. The close comes, guys, we've got 10 shirts left. Those 10 shirts sell instantly. Because that close, man, that really moves people. That's scarcity and it's natural. It's I'm taking it away from you. If you don't get it now, that's huge. You will absolutely make more sales. Look, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more videos about what I'm doing in my business, how I build my multiple 7-figure business, how I continuously do it, how I've sold a business for multiple 7 figures. If you want the real sort of, I would call it behind the scenes look, what I'm actually doing to build my business, do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like on this video, shoot me a comment, let me know what you thought of this video. I would be really curious to find out which one of these 4 pillars you think you're missing out on the most, and should I do a video that goes more in depth on the lead-in, on the event, on the replay, on the close, meaning one video just for the lead-in, one video just for the event, and actually walk you guys through what I'm doing in that process. Now, I will tell you this, we do have a behind the scenes, like true, authentic behind the scenes sort of, I would call it documentary style thing coming out soon for our Wealthery Trust funnel, which is the funnel that I use to generate all of my revenue. If you guys want information on that, there's gonna be a link in the description. You can go check that out. I got another little video for you here on my awesome new whiteboard that I'll walk you guys through. But that's it for me now. I'd love for you guys to subscribe, hit that like button, make sure you guys comment letting me know which one of these you think is either missing from your funnel or the one that you're gonna pay the most attention to, and or if you want me to do individual videos on these actual pillars. But I'm telling you guys right now, write this down, because if you do this with all of your funnels, you'll make more money. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.